Hey there, horror enthusiasts. Today, we're diving into the world of United Kingdom. Many scary ghosts and paranormal events. A video that's sure to send chills down your spine. With its focus on ghosts, paranormal events, haunting narratives, psychological horror, eerie mysteries, and more, this film promises to be a thrilling ride. Before you forget, subscribe and like to help us grow our channel. The UK is one of the most haunted places in the world, with ghostly castles, eerie pubs, and centuries-old legends. Here are some spine-chilling locations in each of the 3 cities we talked about. The Tower of London. This fortress has seen its fair share of gruesome executions, and many ghosts are said to linger. Anne Boleyn, Henry VI's beheaded queen, has been spotted roaming the tower holding her severed head. The spirits of tortured prisoners and ghostly guards have also been reported. The 10 Bells pub, linked to Jack the Ripper. This historic pub in East London is said to be haunted by the spirits of his victims. Staff and visitors have reported eerie whispers, sudden temperature drops, and even ghostly apparitions. Hampton Court Palace, once home to Henry VIII. This grand palace is notorious for ghostly sightings, including Catherine Howard, one of his wives, who was dragged screaming through the halls before her execution. She's been seen running in terror down the gallery, just as she did centuries ago. Edinburgh Castle, one of the most haunted places in Scotland. This fortress is said to be haunted by a headless drummer, a ghostly piper who vanished in the tunnels beneath the castle, and prisoners from the dungeons who were thrown to their deaths. Mary King's Close, a network of underground streets hidden beneath Edinburgh. This eerie location was sealed off during the plague. Visitors have reported seeing shadowy figures and hearing mysterious footsteps echoing through the darkness. Greyfriars Kirkyard. This graveyard is home to the infamous Mackenzie poltergeist, said to physically attack visitors. The tomb of George Mackenzie, a 17th century judge responsible for executing many, is believed to be cursed, with people experiencing scratches, bruises, and even fainting near it. Speke Hall, a beautiful Tudor mansion with a sinister past. The ghost of Mary Norris, a woman who was said to have thrown herself to her death after a tragic love affair, is said to wander the halls in sorrow. Adelphi Hotel, one of the most haunted hotels in England. The Adelphi has had reports of phantom bellhops, disembodied voices, and even the spirit of a man in a top hat appearing in guest rooms. St. James Cemetery, hidden behind Liverpool Cathedral. This eerie burial ground is known for ghostly apparitions and an intense, oppressive atmosphere. Some visitors have reported seeing shadowy figures darting between the gravestones. Don't forget, subscribe and like to help us grow our channel. Oh, a haunted pub tour in London is perfect for you. Imagine sipping a pint while hearing ghost stories about notorious spirits lurking nearby. Here are some of the most haunted pubs in London where you can grab a drink if you dare. The 10 Bells, the 17th century pub, is infamous for its connection to Jack the Ripper. 2 of his victims, Mary Kelly and Annie Chapman, were said to have visited here before their brutal murders. Staff and visitors have reported eerie whispers, sudden temperature drops, and shadowy figures appearing in the upstairs rooms. Some claim to have seen the ghost of Annie Chapman herself near the bar, dressed in Victorian clothing. Would you be brave enough to go upstairs alone? The Viaduct Tavern, standing on the site of Newgate Prison. This pub has a dark past. People have reported seeing apparitions of former prisoners and hearing unexplained footsteps. The ghost of a former landlord, said to have been violently thrown across the cellar by an unseen force, still lingers. If you're feeling daring, you can ask the bartender if they'll take you down to the cellar if you don't mind encountering a restless spirit. The Spaniards Inn, dating back to 1585. This pub was once a highwayman's hideout. One of the most famous ghosts here is Dick Turpin, a legendary highwayman who is said to haunt the bar and stables. People report hearing phantom horse hooves outside and feeling a chilling presence near the fireplace. There's also the spirit of a woman who is often seen crying upstairs, perhaps a heartbroken lover left behind. The Grenadier. This old military pub is haunted by the ghost of Cedric, a soldier who was beaten to death after being caught cheating at cards. People have seen shadowy figures, heard ghostly footsteps on the wooden floors, and even had their drinks mysteriously knocked over. Some say if you leave a coin on the ceiling, yes, it's a thing, Cedric might let you drink in peace. The Flask is located near Highgate Cemetery. This pub is home to the ghost of a Spanish barmaid who supposedly took her own life in the pub's cellar after a failed love affair. Some patrons have felt an icy chill near the bar, seen glasses move on their own, and even spotted her reflection in mirrors. And with Highgate Cemetery nearby, one of the most haunted graveyards in the UK, who knows what other spirits might follow you home? Would you go on a full pub crawl or just visit one? And do you prefer ghost stories with history or the chance of real paranormal activity? I can find some truly terrifying spots if you're looking for something more intense. We're going full ghost hunting mode. If you're looking for real paranormal activity, you need more than just a haunted pub crawl. Let's mix London's most haunted spots with eerie drinks to make it a night you'll never forget. The ultimate haunted pub and paranormal tour in London. Stop 1. The Viaduct Tavern. Holborn spirits before the spirits start the night with a drink at this old Victorian gin palace built over Newgate prison cells. The most haunted part, the basement, where prisoners once suffered. Ask the bartender to show you the original cells if they dare. People have been locked inside by unseen forces, heard whispering voices, and even seen shadowy figures move past the bar. Would you take a peek into the basement alone? Stop 2. The Old Bailey and Newgate prison ruins. London's most cursed ground, just a short walk away, is the Old Bailey, where public executions once took place. Thousands of criminals were hanged, beheaded, or burned alive here. Their restless spirits are still seen wandering the streets at night, especially near the site of Newgate Prison's gallows. Some say you can hear faint screams if you stand still long enough. Would you stand there in silence to listen? Or nope, out of there? Stop 3. The 10 Bells Spitalfields. Jack the Ripper's lair. Time for another drink, but don't go to the bathroom alone. This pub is where Jack the Ripper's victims spent their last nights. Many feel sudden chills, hear whispers, or even see shadowy figures watching them. Some staff members have quit after seeing the ghost of Annie Chapman, a Ripper victim, in the upstairs rooms. If you're feeling brave, you could try going upstairs to see if she appears. Would you order a drink here, or would you be too distracted watching for ghosts? Stop 4. Highgate Cemetery, the Vampire of London. Now we get serious. Highgate Cemetery is home to one of London's most terrifying legends, the Highgate Vampire. In the 1970s, people reported seeing a tall, dark figure with glowing red eyes roaming the graves at night. Some claim it drained life from its victims, leaving them weak and ill. There are also countless ghost sightings here, from Victorian women in mourning to eerie voices whispering from the tombs. Would you walk among the graves at night, or are cemeteries a no-go for you? Stop 5. The Grenadier. Belgravia. A final drink with a ghost and the night at this haunted pub, where a soldier named Cedric was beaten to death for cheating on cards. People report objects moving on their own, sudden cold spots, and even phantom footsteps walking across the ceiling. The staff says leaving a coin on the ceiling, yes, they have coins stuck up there, keeps Cedric's ghost from messing with your drink. Would you leave a coin as an offering? Or would you challenge Cedric's spirit by ignoring the superstition? Don't forget subscribe and like to help us grow our channel. So, are you ready for the ultimate haunted night? This tour takes you from haunted pubs to sites of executions, prisons, and ghost-infested graveyards. The real question is, would you actually do this? And if you had to spend the night in one of these places, which would it be? Oh, now we're talking serious ghost hunting energy. If you had to spend the night in just one of these terrifying places, it really depends on what kind of haunting experience you want. Let's break it down. For true paranormal activity, Highgate Cemetery. If you're after pure, bone-chilling terror, Highgate Cemetery is the place. This isn't just a spooky legend. Hundreds of ghost sightings have been reported here. The Highgate vampire is the most infamous entity, described as a tall, shadowy figure with glowing red eyes. But there are also reports of ghostly monks, a screaming woman in white, and eerie whispering voices that seem to come from nowhere. Many visitors have reported an overwhelming sense of dread, sudden icy chills, and even being touched or grabbed by unseen hands. Risk factor: high poltergeist activity, dark spirits experience, absolute nightmare fuel. Be prepared to see, hear, or feel something paranormal. Fear factor: 10/10. Would you dare walk among the graves alone? For a classic ghostly pub stay, the Grenadier. If you want a more intimate, eerie encounter, staying overnight at the Grenadier pub is a solid choice. The spirit of Cedric, the soldier beaten to death for cheating at cards, roams the pub at night. He's been known to knock over drinks, whisper in people's ears, and stomp across the ceiling when no one is upstairs. Some guests wake up to see a shadowy figure standing at the foot of their bed. Plus, you can actually drink here, so at least you'll have some liquid courage. Risk factor: medium, mostly mischief, ghostly noises. Experience: perfect mix of ghostly history and good drinks. Fear factor: 7/10. Would you challenge Cedric to a game of cards for dark history and Jack the Ripper energy? The 10 Bells. If you want a haunted location tied to real murders, the 10 Bells is your spot. It's deeply connected to Jack the Ripper, and several of his victims were last seen here before they were brutally killed. The ghost of Annie Chapman has been spotted upstairs, and staff members have quit after experiencing objects moving by themselves, hearing whispers in their ears, and feeling someone brush against them when no one is there. The idea that you could be standing right where the Ripper's victims once stood makes this one extra creepy. Risk factor: medium-high ghostly figures, objects moving, eerie sensations. Experience: best for true crime and ghost story lovers. Fear factor: 8/10. Would you go upstairs alone at 3 a.m.? For full-blown horror movie vibes, the Viaduct Tavern basement. No. If you're looking for a truly terrifying, trap-in-the-dark experience, this one's for you. The basement of the Viaduct Tavern is built over Newgate Prison's dungeons, where people were tortured and executed. Many have been locked inside by unseen forces, and staff members report feeling hands grab them in the dark. The worst part? The doors sometimes refuse to open, as if something doesn't want you to leave. Risk factor: high physical sensations, getting locked in experience. Like stepping into a horror movie, you may get trapped inside. Fear factor: 9/10. Would you go down into the basement with the lights off? My pick? Highgate Cemetery. For the ultimate paranormal test. If you want to prove your ghost hunting courage, Highgate Cemetery at night is the real deal. The number of documented sightings, the dark energy, and the Highgate vampire legend make it a next-level haunted location. Plus, once the gates close, you're alone with the dead. Final question: if you had to spend the night in one of these places, no escape until sunrise, where would it be? Or do you want to take it even further and do a ghost hunt in multiple locations? Oh, now we're getting into legendary ghost hunting territory. If you're serious about staying overnight in multiple haunted locations, we need to plan the ultimate ghost hunting experience in London, one where you're guaranteed to see, hear, or feel something paranormal. Don't forget subscribe and like to help us grow our channel. The ultimate 3-night haunted London experience. Site 1. Highgate Cemetery, the test of true fear. We start with the most intense location, Highgate Cemetery at night. With its eerie Gothic tombs, fog-covered graves, and the legend of the Highgate vampire, this is the ultimate test of courage. People have reported seeing shadowy figures moving between the graves, hearing whispers in the wind, and even being followed by an unseen presence. Would you bring a flashlight or go full fearless mode in the dark? Challenge: walk alone down Swain's Lane, where the vampire was first spotted. If you feel the presence of something watching, don't run. They say it follows those who flee. Night 2. The Viaduct Tavern, the basement of no return. After surviving Highgate, it's time for the haunted pub experience. But we're not just drinking here, we're going into the basement of the Viaduct Tavern, where prisoners were once tortured beneath the streets of London. The doors have been known to lock by themselves, and staff members have been trapped down there. People feel hands grabbing them in the dark, and some say they've heard distant screams, remnants of Newgate Prison's tortured souls. Challenge: go into the basement alone for 10 minutes. If the door shuts behind you, try not to panic. If you hear footsteps behind you, you might not be alone. Night 3. The 10 Bells, a drink with Jack the Ripper. After 2 nights of pure terror, we end with something just as eerie, but with a few drinks to take the edge off. The 10 Bells, one of Jack the Ripper's most infamous haunts, is home to the spirit of Annie Chapman, one of his victims. The upstairs rooms are said to be so haunted that staff refuse to go up alone. Objects move on their own, whispers are heard at the bar, and people have seen shadowy figures standing behind them in mirrors. Challenge: spend an hour alone upstairs with only a candle. If Annie appears, will you try to talk to her? Or will you get out before she whispers in your ear? Don't forget subscribe and like to help us grow our channel. Final question: would you stay the full 3 nights? Or would you tap out after night 1? If you want the most extreme version, we could add one last challenge, spending the final hours before sunrise inside the locked gates of Highgate Cemetery. Would you be able to do it? Or is there one of these places you'd refuse to enter at all? Oh, you're officially fearless. Since you're ready for the ultimate haunted challenge, let's set up the most intense, no turning back ghost hunt in London. We're talking overnight stays, paranormal equipment, and direct spirit communication. Let's break it down. The 3-night extreme ghost hunt in London. Night 1. Highgate Cemetery, the ultimate fear test location. Highgate Cemetery, West Side, where the Highgate vampire was spotted. Why it's terrifying. This isn't just a ghost story. Highgate is real, documented paranormal encounters. The Highgate vampire legend is one of the most infamous supernatural cases in the world. Visitors report being followed, seeing shadow figures, and hearing disembodied whispers in the mist. What you'll do: walk down Swain's Lane alone after midnight. Sit by the Egyptian Avenue tombs in complete silence for 15 minutes. Conduct a spirit box session in the Circle of Lebanon crypts. Challenge: would you step into the catacombs of Highgate, where coffins have been seen mysteriously moving on their own? Night 2. Viaduct Tavern, locked in the haunted basement location. The Viaduct Tavern, built over Newgate Prison's dungeons. Why it's terrifying. Unexplained forces have locked people inside the basement before. Staff have reported being pushed, touched, and even scratched by something unseen. The spirits of prisoners still haunt the space beneath the bar. What you'll do: investigate the prison cells beneath the bar using an EMF detector. Attempt automatic writing to communicate with the spirits. Try to open a seance circle and call on former prisoners. Challenge: you'll spend 30 minutes alone in the basement, no lights, no sound. If the door shuts by itself, do you stay or panic? Night 3. The 10 Bells face to face with Jack the Ripper's ghost location. The 10 Bells, where Jack the Ripper's victims once drank. Why it's terrifying. Ghost of any Chapman Ripper victim has been seen on the second floor. Patrons report feeling cold hands touch them when no one is there. Glasses fly off shelves, lights flicker, and shadowy figures are spotted in mirrors. What you'll do: conduct an EVP session in the upstairs room. Use a spirit box to try and contact any Chapman. Sit in total darkness at her last known table and wait. Challenge: stay alone in the upstairs room for 1 full hour. If any whispers in your ear, will you ask her a question or run? And don't forget to follow and subscribe for more thrilling movie reviews. Until next time, stay spooky.
Smash that subscribe button and click the bell icon to turn on ALL notifications. Don't miss out on the latest updates, thrilling adventures, and spine-chilling stories. Be the first to watch, comment, and experience the excitement as soon as it drops.